All right, so today we're diving deep into email marketing
Yeah.
and, specifically how to write subject lines that actually get people to click.
Hmm.
It's like you're trying to turn a split-second glance into a sale.
Exactly.
And we've got a great resource today.
Yeah.
Insights from Julia Rosian. She's a digital engagement strategist and author, so she really knows her stuff.
It's interesting because, we're bombarded with messages constantly, but email still really holds its own.
Yeah.
Over 40% of marketers say it's their most effective channel.
Wow.
So let's make sure you're getting the most out of it. And it all starts with those subject lines.
Okay, so let's break this down.
Right.
Julia compares a subject line to a handshake with your
I
audience.
like that.
It's that first impression, right? That can either make or break the interaction.
Exactly. And just like a weak handshake,
Ah.
a bad subject line can be a total disaster.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking almost a 70% chance of being flagged as spam. I mean,
Ah.
that's your email going straight to the trash can.
No.
You got to grab attention and make those few seconds count.
Okay, so how do we avoid that fate?
Right.
How do we write subject lines that actually shine?
Well, it all starts with your audience.
Okay.
You have to understand their interests, their needs, even their pain points.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of language resonates with them?
Yeah.
It's about speaking directly to them and showing that you get it.
So it's more than just blasting out a generic message, right?
Absolutely.
Julia suggests adding a personal touch, like using the recipient's name.
Oh, yeah.
So, new arrivals just for you, Joan, feels a lot more compelling than just check out our new arrivals.
Right. That personalization makes the email feel relevant, like it's a conversation.
Yeah.
But, I wonder if using the recipient's name in every subject line could become a little bit repetitive or even intrusive.
That's a good point.
What do you think?
Yeah, I can see how it could become too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's about finding the right balance, using it strategically, not just slapping it on every email.
Exactly. And that's where segmentation comes in.
Okay.
It's about dividing your email list
Yeah.
into smaller, more specific groups based on things like their past purchases, demographics, or interests.
Okay. So you can tailor your message even further.
Right.
Make those subject lines even more specific and enticing.
Exactly.
Can you give an example of how a company might use segmentation?
Sure, imagine an online clothing retailer.
Go ahead.
They could segment their list by gender past purchases or preferred styles.
Okay.
So instead of just a generic new arrivals, they could send new arrivals in your favorite denim styles, John, to a specific segment.
Oh, I like that.
That level of personalization really grabs attention.
Yeah.
Makes it feel special.
Okay, so we've got a good understanding of our audience.
Yeah.
We're personalizing strategically, and we're segmenting our list for targeted messaging.
Mm-hmm.
What else is essential for a killer subject line?
Brevity and clarity.
Okay.
You gotta remember, people are checking email on their phones constantly.
Oh, yeah?
Over 40% of emails are open on mobile devices.
Wow.
So that subject line needs to be concise.
So we need to make every character count,
Right.
especially since those subject lines can get cut off on smaller screens.
Exactly.
How short are we talking?
Aim for 50 characters or less.
Okay.
Think of it like a tweet.
Mm-hmm.
And as tempting as it is to get clever,
Yeah.
prioritize clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Vague subject lines, they just get ignored.
Yeah, it's like when I see, "You won't believe this," in my inbox, I just roll my eyes and hit delete.
Right.
It's too vague. It sounds gimmicky.
Exactly. Julia gives a great example.
Okay.
Today, only 30% off bedding essentials is much better than can't miss deals are here.
Yeah, I
And
think.
the first one is clear. It tells you exactly what's up, and it even creates a sense of urgency.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Julia talks about using power words to evoke emotions and really grab attention.
Ooh.
Words like limited time, exclusive, or free. It's
Right.
like tapping into our fear of missing out.
It's basic psychology, really.
Yeah.
These words trigger a sense of urgency, and they make the reader feel like they need to act now.
So instead of new products are available, we could say, discover our exclusive new collection, limited time only.
Now, that's a subject line that makes you want to click.
I like it.
You've got exclusivity, you've got that ticking clock, it's all there.
So we've got all these great tips, but how do we know for sure what's going to resonate best with our specific audience?
That's where A/B testing comes in.
Okay.
You're essentially sending out two slightly different versions of your email
Okay.
to see which one performs better. You can test different subject lines, email layouts, even calls to action.
So it's like a scientific experiment to
Right.
figure out what actually works.
Exactly.
But how do you set up these A/B tests effectively?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll delve deeper into when we come back after a quick break.
Sounds good. We were just talking about the power of A/B testing, like running these little experiments to see what really works with our audience.
Yeah.
I'm curious to learn more about actually setting up those tests
Uh-huh.
and getting meaningful results.
Sure. So let's say you're testing subject lines.
Okay.
You could try different power words to see what resonates.
Okay.
Like, for example, you could test get 50% off now against exclusive offer, 50% off,
Okay.
and see which one gets more clicks.
That makes sense, but how do you decide how many people to include in each test group?
Right? That's where sample size comes in.
Okay.
You want enough people in each group to get statistically significant results, but not so many that it takes forever to gather data.
Right.
There are online calculators that can help you determine the optimal sample size
Yeah.
based on your list size and desired confidence level.
So you're not just guessing, you're using data to make informed decisions.
Exactly.
And once the test is done, how do you actually analyze the results?
You're looking at key metrics like open rates and click-through rates.
Okay.
Did one subject line significantly outperform the other? If so, you've got a winner. And even if the results are close, you're still learning valuable information about your audience's preferences.
So it's all about that continuous improvement.
Absolutely. The more you test, the better you get at understanding what works.
Julia also mentions some useful tools in her book. Like there's one called MarTech, which lets you preview how your subject lines will look on different devices.
That's such a smart tool.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've crafted a subject line only to have it cut off on my phone.
Ugh, I hate when that happens.
Right.
So this helps you optimize for all those different viewing experiences.
Exactly.
She also talks about AI-powered content generators.
Yes.
Are those worth exploring?
They can be helpful
Okay.
for brainstorming or getting unstuck creatively.
Okay.
These AI tools can analyze data about your audience and suggest powerful phrases that are likely to resonate.
So it's like having a robot assistant helping you write better subject lines.
Kind of, yeah. But I'm a little hesitant to hand over all the creative control to a machine.
I hear you.
Yeah, while these tools can be valuable, they shouldn't replace your own understanding of your audience.
Right.
It's about finding that balance between leveraging technology and trusting your gut instincts as a marketer.
You still need that human touch, that intuitive sense of what will connect with your readers.
Absolutely.
So beyond tools and testing, what other tips should we keep in mind when crafting subject lines that grab attention?
Well, think about the emotions you want to evoke.
Okay.
Do you want it to spark curiosity, excitement, urgency? It's like choosing the right bait for the right fish.
I like that analogy.
You know, if you're promoting a limited time sale,
Okay.
words like hurry or last chance can create that fear of missing out and get people to take action.
And if you're launching a new product, you might focus on words that evoke curiosity or excitement, like exclusive or discover.
Right. It's all about tailoring your language to the goal of your email.
So we're thinking about the emotions we want to evoke. We're using strong action words, and we're constantly testing and refining our approach.
Right.
What else can we do to really make our subject lines stand out in a crowded inbox?
Well, sometimes playing with expectations can be effective.
Okay.
Have you ever received an email with a subject line that made you do a double take?
Oh, absolutely. I recently got one that just said, oops.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't resist clicking to see the mistake was.
Yeah.
It turned out to be a clever way to promote a sale on, like, mistake items or whatever.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's about creating intrigue and piquing the reader's curiosity. Another technique is using humor.
Okay.
A well-placed joke or witty remark can make your emails stand out
Yeah.
and leave a positive impression.
But humor can be tricky, right?
It can be. Yeah, you have to know your audience or what they'll find funny.
Yeah, what works for one audience might fall flat with another.
Exactly. It's about understanding their sense of humor and keeping it appropriate for your brand.
Right. You don't want to alienate anyone with a joke that misses the mark.
No, you don't.
Okay, so we've talked about tools testing, emotional triggers, playing with expectations, and even using humor.
Yeah,
It feels like we've covered a lot of ground here.
we have. But remember, the most important thing is to keep experimenting
Okay.
and finding what works best for you and your specific audience. Don't be afraid to try new things and see what gets results.
It's like we're on this journey of constant learning and discovery.
Yeah.
Always trying to refine our skills and connect with our audience in meaningful ways.
Exactly.
But where do we go from here?
Right.
How do we apply all of this knowledge in a practical way?
But let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and look at some real-world examples.
Okay.
We'll analyze some successful email campaigns and see how they've used these techniques to craft compelling subject lines that drive results.
That sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
I love seeing how these concepts play out in real life.
There's nothing like learning from the best.
So we're going to dive into some case studies
Yeah.
and see what we can learn from their successes.
Right after a quick break.
Okay, so we've covered so much ground, from understanding our audience to all the testing and refining our subject lines. Now let's look at how these concepts actually play out in the real world.
Right. I think this will really solidify everything.
Yeah.
A great example is this email campaign from a meal kit service I got last week.
Okay.
The subject line was, "Dinner's on us, seriously."
Okay, so I see what they did there.
Yeah.
First, they're offering something valuable, right? Free food.
Right.
Who doesn't love that?
Exactly.
And the seriously part adds a touch of humor and personality.
Right. It makes the brand feel more relatable and less corporate.
Yeah.
And it definitely piqued my curiosity.
So you clicked.
Oh, yeah. I had to see what the catch was.
Did they actually give you a free meal?
Well, not entirely free.
Okay.
It was a clever promotion for their introductory offer.
Okay.
Like a significant discount on your first few boxes.
Okay.
But the subject line definitely got me to open the email and consider their offer.
That's a great example of how a well-crafted subject line can really drive action. It's not just about getting the open, it's about moving people further down the sales funnel.
Exactly.
What other examples come to mind?
There's this online clothing store I follow
Oh, okay.
that sends out these really engaging emails. One subject line that really stood out to me was, "Your closet called, it needs these new arrivals."
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's playful, it's personalized, it's
Yeah.
like they're speaking directly to my shopping desires.
Exactly. And it creates a sense of urgency without being pushy.
Right.
It's not sale ends tonight.
Yeah.
It's more like a gentle nudge.
So it's more about creating a connection with the reader than hitting them over the head with a sales pitch.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of email subject lines, what's the one big takeaway for our listener?
I think the key is to remember that crafting these compelling subject lines is both an art and a science. It's about understanding the psychology of your audience, using data to inform your decisions,
Yeah.
and always being willing to experiment and refine your approach.
It's not just about following a formula.
Right.
It's about finding your unique voice and creating that connection with your readers.
Exactly. And as you gain experience and start to see what works, you'll become more confident and creative in your approach.
It's like any skill, the more you practice, the better you get.
Absolutely.
But here's a final thought for you to consider.
Okay.
As you're going through your own inbox, pay attention to the subject lines that grab your attention.
Yeah.
Analyze why they work, what techniques are they using, and see if you can adapt those strategies for your own email marketing.
It's like becoming an email detective.
I like it.
Uncovering the secrets behind those clickable subject lines.
And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one inspiring others with your email marketing genius.
That's right.
Until next time, happy emailing.